All right, there we go. Okay. So this is just those of you who were on last Monday evening, we are simply um sharing highlights, things that stood out to us in the chapters that we read, chapters 3 and 4. Um, so when you have something that you want to share that you read in these chapters and how it pertains to just what we do in Plexus, um, you can definitely unmute yourself and share that. We are only doing this, we only have until just before 8 o'clock, so we need to be done then. So just want to share that so we don't go over time and so we honor everyone's time. Okay, so chapters 3 and 4, we're reading through the book called Success is a Choice. It's a really small little book, which is really nice. Sometimes it's nice to have a short book by John Maxwell. And so chapter 3 is entitled Fire Up Your Passion. Um, so I underlined right in the first paragraph, as long as the passion is there, it doesn't matter if they fail. And then further down, they keep going and make the most of whatever talent they possess. I think I run into more people who quit on themselves in life in general than anything, like whatever their pursuit is. It doesn't matter. Okay. Exercise is like the easiest one to use. All right. But then, like anything, you talk to somebody says, I'm starting a business in something else. And you find out like a year later, 2 years later, you ask them about it, like, oh, I stopped. That wasn't working for me. It just didn't go anywhere. And like, here's the thing. I'm starting off with a bang here. I'm sorry. But like when I started Plexus, I was so emotionally immature and I knew nothing of what I was doing. And I got I still get lots and lots of no's. Okay. It doesn't matter where you are at in this, what rank you're at. You're always going to get no's. Um, but it didn't matter how many no's I got, and it didn't matter that close family and close friends didn't want to do this with me because I was so passionate about this. It was like I had found that thing that I just knew this was going to change things for my family, even though I couldn't figure out how. Like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing these things that my sponsor and her sponsors are telling me to do are their work activities. I'm going to keep doing them and figuring out along the way because um, where's the see? Passion creates fire. It provides fuel. And then actually in the same paragraph, he says, I have yet to meet a passionate person who lacked energy. Okay, I'm going to stop. Did anything stand out to anybody right there? Like on even the first 2 pages? Did you underline anything? Okay, I'm going to say another one because no one spoke up quick. At the bottom of page 20, I underlined, and this is really, really encouraging. Okay. A passionate person with limited talent will outperform a passive person who possesses great talent. I cannot tell you the amount of intelligent people, highly talented, intelligent people I've reached out to over the years in Plexus who have said no. But I've had, again, like I talked about this last Monday, and this is not a derogatory negative thing, but I have talked to other fellow average stay-at-home moms who are like, I'm going to try to do that. Like I'm going to do that. Like I'll do that. And we have people who are earning paychecks now who have done that, women, stay-at-home average moms who are doing that, who are earning paychecks, where you have all these other highly intelligent people who have all sorts of degrees who turn it down. And that was actually we talked about that in the last chapter last Monday. Okay. Anybody have anything to share so far?
Yes.
Good.
On page 2, I really liked the find something you like to do so much that you'd gladly do it for nothing And if you learn to do it well, someday people will be happy to pay you for it. And that one really hit me because I was on a coaching call a couple weeks ago, and the person who was coaching me literally asked me this question, like, take all the prizes, take everything off the table. Would you still do what you're doing? And like, no hesitation, it was a yes. So like that part really stuck out to me.
Yes. Okay. Another section in chapter 3, passion increases willpower. Because yet again, we are in charge of our own activity, level of what time that we put into Plexus. And there are days where we can feel just maybe worn out from different things, maybe emotionally tired, where we're like, I don't like it can be hard sometimes to make yourself, if you are your own boss, you have to make yourself sit down and start doing those work activities that grow this, right? But when you can fuel your passion, especially if you're having a day, like for me, if I'm having a morning where I'm just not in the right headspace, I will, and I actually do this literally almost every morning. There are a few mornings here and there where I don't, but most mornings, like Monday through Friday mornings, I put on something, whether it's like in whatever different team trainings we're part of, I'm listening to a recording in the morning, or I'm looking for Brittany Howard's podcast, a new episode, um, or any other person that kind of we promote who does different trainings and mindset entrepreneurial stuff. I will put something on to shift where my headspace is, to get that kind of get a little spark to light my fire inside me, to be like, okay, yep, I'm I'm good. So by the time I'm done with my makeup, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're good. We're gonna go to work. Um, I've actually had to do that for pretty much the entire time I've been in Plexus. And I think it's important that we fuel our passion. And that just sounds very cliche, but it has to do with taking time to work on personal development. Because when we work on our reading, taking time to reading, absorb, apply, listening, watching, absorb, apply, that fuels us to get into action. So anybody have anything so far?
I like the questions that he asks to help people discover their passion. What do you sing about? What do you cry about? And what do you dream about? I thought those were really good questions. And so maybe we all need to really think about that.
What page is that on, Janelle? I'm not seeing it.
23. It was right under increased willpower.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
And also, like, in addition to that, I mean, it's just a little bit further down from that too, is that, the secret to willpower is what someone once called want power. And I actually like highlighted that just because I don't have the hard copy of the book, so I have it kind of highlighted on my app. But it says people who want something enough usually find the willpower to achieve it, because how badly do you want it? you know? So
And another part I put a star next to, because this is something that we can run into. I think we've almost all run into this. You can't help people become winners unless they want to win. How many times have we been like, it's almost like you think they're willing to start sharing, they're willing to start doing it, but it's like they never get into it and get going. It's like at some point we have to be discerning enough to know how much time to put into give to people who are in that space. Because if they don't want it, they're not going to do it. Further down under passion produces energy, I have circled, he has 3 things. During a question and answer session at a conference, John Maxwell was asked, what is the secret of your passion? And he had 3 things. And one of the things I've circled is when I do what I was made to do, I feel most alive.
Yeah.
And I feel that way with a few different things. And one of them is definitely plexus, especially when the women on my team are winning. I just tell you, the fire goes way up. It is not fun succeeding on your own, and you literally cannot really succeed on your own anyways in this. You can only get so far. I think you all know that. So when you have the women who have come along with you start
Succeeding.
it changes everything. It is the greatest shot of adrenaline to be doing what you've wanted to do so badly. Oh my goodness, yes. That was by Charles Lindbergh. Anybody else? I don't need to talk this entire time. Another one, passion can
Well,
transform.
I think
Oh, yes, go.
the passion can transform someone from average to excellent. And I know that that's part of it. Is it's taken me a long time to work through my, head junk about doing the business. But there are many things that we do. I mean, we're always been told, like, you need to be watching diamond documentaries and listening to other people, because it's almost like you need to keep that. It's like listening to podcasts. You need to keep that fire going, whether you're working in your business or you're just working on your health, even too, to listen to other people, even looking up health testimonials to keep you going. Like, yes, this is what I want to help people do, or this is what I need to hear to keep myself going. So I like that quote there.
Anything?
A little later in the chapter on page 27, I think it is, when it says passion is contagious, in there in the, is it the, oh, maybe it's not that chapter. It's the part where he talks about lighting the little candles all over the cabin. Do you guys remember that part? That really resonated with me, like just the visual.
Top of page
And so
28.
many different. Is it 28? Yes, it's page 28. And he says if you light a bunch of little candles all around the room, it doesn't really create enough light to help them see, nor do they produce enough heat to keep warm. I feel like that applied to so many things. Like that can apply to this business with like our time, where we're spending our time. Are we sprinkling it all around? Or are we dedicating our time to a certain thing? Or even our consistency. Are we just lighting a little candle once a week, every other day? Or are you doing it every day to produce enough heat in one area?
That's very good. It's a very good illustration.
And then even right after that, when he goes into talking about the fire lighters versus firefighters.
Yes.
Being a firefighter's wife, of course, like I gravitated towards that. So I was like, okay, like he could be the firefighter in like the real world, but like when it comes to work and even in ourselves, like not even just the people you surround yourself with, but like even you, like, are you lighting your own fire? Are you protecting your passion? Are you feeding that every day, like Julie said, or like, are you fighting it? Like, are you taking all those lists of excuses of the phrases that he said firefighters use and implementing them yourself, not just hearing them from other people, but are you using those also? Or are you like overcoming those and feeding your fire every day?
Yes. One way to avoid your passion, your fire getting doused, is to not let yourself, this is personal experience, don't let yourself read things if you stumble upon them from other people who are anti-MLM. That is one of the quickest ways to douse a fire if you're not mentally ready. So that is definitely, yes, avoid those spaces. And it's interesting because sometimes the people closest to us do not mean to do this, but they can be firefighters. Simply because what we are doing is not traditional. Therefore, there is to other people some risk. Really, we are risking nothing except, I don't even think we're risking anything. I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even think our reputation we're risking because we're not doing something questionable, right? So we're not risking anything except maybe time. But that time is time that where we have been able to put time into learning skills, growing emotionally mature more, building in character. So we're not risking anything, but firefighters in our lives can try to douse the fire in us because they want to protect us from disappointment. So that is another way I have seen women on my team in the over the years who have come back to me and said, I'm not going to do this because someone in my family just doesn't think it's legitimate. And I'm like, I feel so sad for them, but that's their decision. Okay, anything else?
Okay. I'm not very good at talking, but I find even with me today, what I find I have to put myself in the mindset that working out is my job. It is important to my health and it has to be a priority. And if I don't make it a priority, I won't do it. I just don't get myself to say, okay, it's 30 minutes. I'm worth 30 minutes every day. It's worth it.
Yeah,
And I don't give myself an excuse.
you're absolutely right. Yep. Let's go on to chapter. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, let's go on to chapter 4. We have probably a little less than 10 minutes. So on page 31, chapter 4, it's entitled Initiate Action. And I underlined this part right at the beginning. Successful people don't wait for everything to be perfect to move forward. They don't wait for all the problems or obstacles to disappear. They don't wait until their fear subsides, because that probably won't happen until you actually take action. They take initiative. I feel like that sums up network marketing. I mean, and then how many people do we run into who are like, who are waiting for that like perfect timing to start? Oh, okay. Anything on this? It's very juicy.
I like this part a lot because I feel like we talk to potential VIPs about this whole concept when it comes to products, and we forget that this is so much about the business too. Like we tell people all the time, like, don't wait for the perfect time to like start these products. Your body needs it, blah, 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 blah. But then we are constantly looking for the perfect time or the perfect training or whatever to move our business forward, instead of just going for it, or like planning an event. We have to have it all mapped out before executing it. Like just go for it, just do it. The same way we talk to our VIPs, we need to start talking to ourselves the same way.
That is so good. That is so good. I was actually convicted about that well, really recently, in January. And why am I not just going all in my, maybe, I mean, I am all in, but there are certain things I've been holding back in, at least internally. And you're absolutely right. There is no, I think sometimes we don't take action because we don't want to be disappointed either. But how are we going to grow otherwise?
But maybe
So
the
that-
reason we don't take action is maybe fear. Like I think fear stops a lot of people.
Well, that's the thing. I was like
Insight.
gonna say that that's like that number 2 section. The initiative closes the door to fear, you know? And at the end of it, right before it's the one about opening the door to initiative opens the door to opportunity. That last few sentences says inaction is not only the result, but the cause of fear. Perhaps the action you take will be successful, and perhaps different action or adjustments will have to follow, but any action is better than no action at all. If you want to close the door on fear, just get moving. Like just start, somewhere. And it's like what Crystal was saying. It's like if it's the same thing like our products, the business is the same way. It's like if we want to see progress or improvement, we just got to take action. So yeah, that hit me hard too. Because I think I do operate a lot on fear. Because it's interesting how like my journey has been, because I feel like I have done a lot of failing forward, but like maybe doing it so many times and then it's just like, what am I doing wrong? It's just like it doesn't work, and it's like I have to keep adjusting. It's just like a lot of adjusting, but it's kind of like the products. Like if something is not going right, or like you need your body or you need your supplements to be tweaked or something, it's like it's not necessarily failing, but it's something that has to be changed, and adjusted. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And if we keep falling into if nothing's changing, we have to look at, what do I need to change? What do I need to do? Something new, do something that I've been scared to do, that I've been holding myself back from doing. Whether it's as simple as talking right away, or talking to your new VIPs who are coming on board, like right away. For me, this is what I'm working on personally right now, everyone. Like talking right away to them about, or in the first week about, I would love for you to have people to do this with. And my thing that has held me back is almost, and I didn't know this until just now, tonight, hearing what Crystal just said, I've almost been waiting for the perfect moment, because I don't want them to say, no, I'm not interested in sharing. So I haven't done it enough, which means there's going to be less growth. So very, very good, ladies. Very good. I underlined something apparently from Benjamin Franklin, that he said that Esther was right, talking in that same section. To succeed, jump as quickly at opportunities as you do at conclusions. It's so easy for us to assume things and jump to conclusions, or myself, talking about myself. Okay, anyone else?
I liked the part in that the book where he said the first step to anywhere you want to go is, you can get to anywhere in the world. You can get somewhere else. Just, it was kind of like, oh, I never thought about it that. It's just interesting. Like you can get anywhere from anywhere. You just have to start walking and start moving in that direction. An initiative closes the door to fear. There's so many times when I talk myself out of things because of that silly fear. And, I'm working so hard on the verse that talks about taking our thoughts captive, but there's a lot of times I just, in thinking about doing my business, I just kind of allow those thoughts to, and I'm like, I just realized that tonight. I'm like, why am I allowing myself to do that? I need to have like a stop. Don't continue on with that thought. Like that thought is garbage thought. But anyway, I love the chapter 4. I thought it was kind of what I needed. And the fear that left the skydivers as soon as they left the airplane, it's like the fear is gone as soon as they fell out of the airplane. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of, have the same feeling sometimes when you go ahead and you do something. You're like so built up with all this fear. And then you finally decide that you're going to do something about it. And you're like, oh, yeah, nothing really bad happened. It wasn't really that scary.
Yes, I think one of the things that we are most fearful, I should say for myself, and more so in the past, is offering someone the business opportunity. For whatever reason, I think that tends to make some people be more fearful than offering the products, because the products are easier to offer. For whatever reason, it's like we can take it personal when it comes to the business. So, okay, I'm going to wrap this up here. Socrates said, to move the world, we must first move ourselves. When I needed to start rebuilding my business, because I had not taken good responsibility for a couple years, it felt like trudging through mud. And it felt like I had a visual in my head of literally turning this massive wheel, and it felt really slow. And then once it started moving, I started getting traction. Once I started doing the daily activities that I'm supposed to be doing, the wheel started picking up. And that's that quote. That's what I think about. Okay. One more thing. The greatest time wasted is the time getting started. Don't let it be us. Even on our normal days when we know we can make time to work, like, well, not every day, like however you work your business, whenever you work your business, don't take time to get started. We're going to end on that. All right. Thank you all for coming tonight. And for those of you who watch the recording later. So this week is chapter 5 and chapter 6. And please read and take notes or highlight and share your takeaways next week. Thank you so much, girls. Have a good night. And Monday Night Meetup is starting now, and it's really, really good. If you can make the time, please, to get on. Okay, that's all. Good night.